अभी तो म्यूट हूँ, मेरी वजह से
It's
ज़्यादा बात होगी नहीं।
due to the upcoming change in the MBBS qualification and also entrance to the postgraduate courses. The current situation is that people qualify from individual colleges and universities, and then they have the license to practice medicine, and then they have a separate entrance exam to get into postgraduate courses. And all the exams are, especially the postgraduate entrance exam, is a national exam. NEET and postgraduates are aware of how easy or difficult it is uh, uh, to cope with the NEET exam, but with the new NMC Act, this is all set to change. And there is a new exam which is called NET, will be a twofold exam which will give the license to practice. You have to qualify, you have to pass the next exam. Uh,
Sir, your screen is frozen. I'm not able to hear you. Ashok sir, are you able to hear Chandra sir?
No, he's frozen and we lost the audio.
Yeah.
We should have a way to handle this one, kind of in the sense we won't waste too much time, because unless the speaker is frozen, we don't have a choice. But most of the time, these technical difficulties come, and then we just sit and wait for. So we will move from one to another, or somebody else takes over and presents. When
I mean, if there are two topics, I agree. But if we have a single speaker, I think Chandra sir is joining it again.
on the Zoom platform, it is your bandwidth. You're muted, Chandra. You're still muted.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I think that is the important reason for hosting this meeting for the benefit of undergraduates, especially from 2017 batch, who may be affected by the upcoming changes. And also to the parents, grandparents, anyone who may be interested in knowing about the new changes that are coming through. So what do you think, Dr. Ashok? Do you think this will be an important, will this be a useful event organized by the
Absolutely, because I remember taking my FLAB exam to come to England and the VQE in those days to go to US, and we studied and studied and came. Then we realized that for the local graduates in US now, USMLE, each university has they have their own classes how to negotiate exams. It is a different skill. It's not just a knowledge. You have to have the skills to negotiate a particular set of exams to perform well. So it'll be, and I heard from the students who took the NEET this year that it was a tough exam, and it's all knowing how to negotiate an exam. So it is very important. Hopefully, students will make use of this and be present for this one. And Dr. Chandra, the agenda, I don't think I have an agenda, so we won't have much. It's I give a welcome address, very short one, and then you will be introducing Dr. Bipin, and then we go straight into the topic, isn't it?
That's correct, Dr. Ashok. So I think Professor Batra's profile is already there on the screen for everyone to read. And then, following your introduction regarding the global alumni and our objective and why we're trying to do this, and followed by introduction of Professor Batra, and then I think let's listen to his wisdom of from organizing many groundbreaking changes in the national level assessment of medical exams. So I think it would be quite useful to hear from him how next is going to pan out in the next few years. So, Kannan, what do you think? I think you are a relatively
So your audio is frozen. I mean, your audio and video are both are frozen.
fresh to the entrance. So, Kannan, what do you think? Kannan, you're on mute.
I couldn't really listen to what you said, sir. I think there was some connectivity issue. Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I was just asking you, I think as a recent graduate and also a gold medalist from the university and your pathology postgraduate exam. So, how do you see next panning out in the next few years, and how the students should prepare for this upcoming major change?
It's a new initiative, definitely a good initiative. I think it's in lines of USMLE, and there might be certain initial glitches and hiccups, but definitely on the long run, it's going to be a great thing. And I suppose we'll have more insights when we listen to Batra speaking about it. I presume that it will be more clinically oriented testing rather than very practically approached way of testing students and giving them a license to practice. I very much appreciate this initiative and really excited to listen to sir in this regard.
Praveen, welcome. Can you hear us? And what do you think are the implications of the upcoming changes to the exit exams or the entrance exam, which
Yes, good evening, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. And I think, as Kannan sir said, as myself being a person who was preparing for the NEET exam and approaching it, I think the new format will also be even more competitive and it will refine more doctors well so that people be more interested in learning in depth about the subjects and orienting it with the clinical basis of things more. So I think it will be a very good thing going forward, sir.
I think the difficulty is for, there are, when you look at a cohort of students, so you have a bell-shaped curve, so you have some who are extremely academically oriented, then you have when you look at the cohort. Can you mute, please, Praveen, and so that we can stop the echo?
No. I was just checking one thing. That's the reason for the echo. I'll stop it, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So I think we have a cohort of students, so we have to look after an average student who needs to get through the exam, who needs to be well prepared, so they shouldn't be handicapped by new changes that are coming in. So we have to make sure that every student is empowered to tackle the changes that are coming through. because there are such profound changes, so we don't want students to be left behind and not being fully aware or fully prepared for the changes that are coming through. So I think it's quite important that we take as much effort as it is possible. I'm sure the colleges will be doing that, and the universities will be doing that. But then to start preparing for MCQ type questions, I think you have to start right from the beginning. I'm not sure whether this is happening, Praveen, or do you have in your undergraduate training of anatomy, physiology, early years, do you have more emphasis on MCQ type problem solving type questions or not?
It was not till I completed my final year, sir, but recently from the 2019 batch, there is more implications of getting into one mark questions in the internal examination itself, sir. We used to have like 1 mark tests every day in anatomy, physiology, then and there. So we used to revise a lot for the portions taught yesterday, and we used to go through books. But nowadays, from the 19 batch, they've added the MCQ parts, like focusing more on MCQ parts.
Yeah, that's good to know. And also, welcome, Professor Bipin Batra. So, thanks for sparing your valuable time on a Sunday. Hope you can hear us. And
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Professor Chakra. I'm able to hear you. And good afternoon, and good evening, and good morning to all our participants from US, UK, India, and elsewhere.
उठ के नहीं जा
Thank you.
सकते.
yeah, I think it's good to see you. And I think we're looking
Yeah.
forward to listening to your wisdom, because this seems to be a quite profound change in the medical MBBS curriculum, as it were. I think the curriculum assessment of the curriculum, should I say? So I think it will be quite interesting to see how such a massive change is going to be implemented. Obviously, you have the experience of introducing profound changes like NEET, PG, which was
Yeah.
something a lot of people said it wouldn't be possible, but yeah, well done, and yes, I think we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you.
I think we're almost ready to start. So,
एक मिनट चाहिए अभी.
Ashok, shall we start, please?
6 बजे होएगा.
Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, since we have participants from across the globe. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Coimbatore we just started in May of 2021, and our Sowmya, our social media committee, has done a fantastic job of conducting webinars, and this is the first one where we are broadcasting on multimedia platform. Our mission of the Global Alumni is to assist our alma mater as any other association, the administration, faculty, and students. But specifically, our alumni association focuses on academics and research. So it is very appropriate to have this topic, and we are fortunate and welcome Dr. Bipin Batra. Dr. Bipin Batra has extensive knowledge. Actually, he's the pioneer in developing standardized exams. And you have Dr. Bipin Batra's information on the screen at this time. He was the executive director of the National Board of Examination from 2010 to 2017. He is the pioneer in developing standardized exams for entering into the medical field. We are fortunate to have him to talk to us about his experience and also share with us the key role in how to negotiate the standardized exams. I still remember when I was entering the US. Before that, I took the PLAB exam in UK and also the visa qualifying exam in those days to US. We just studied and took the exam. But when I came and settled in US, I realized that even big universities like Mayo and every small educational institutions have special sessions for the students how to take exams, how to negotiate exams. It is having the knowledge is not sufficient. We have to go into the brains of the people who created the exams to see how to take the exam. So it's a wonderful topic, excellent topic, and thanks for the Sowmya team for arranging this meeting. With that, I will hand over the meeting to Dr. Chandra.
Thanks, Dr. Ashok. Thanks for the welcome. And we can see Professor Batra's profile on the screen. So he needs no introduction to standard setting. He is a radiologist by training, and he has got postgraduate diploma in health and hospital management. He's a fellow of the Famer Institute, a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. He has had honorary doctorate conferred to him, and he's also a fellow in health promotion from the University of Sydney. And fellow of the Royal Tropical Institute, Netherlands. And as said before, he has got extensive experience in medical student assessment, the development of specialty and other training programs, and he was the executive director of the National Board of Exams from 2010 to 2017. And he was one of the pioneers in introducing the NEET PG, NEETs with the specialty and postdoctoral fellowships. In addition, as the executive director of the National Board of Exams, he was a key person in approving many postgraduate courses, dependent courses, which were needed to be established, and he played a key role in doing that. I was fortunate to listen to Professor Batra, and I was struck by his humbleness and his depth of knowledge. So it would be useful to hear from Professor Batra. Welcome, sir, and we are waiting to hear from you regarding negotiating next, which is going to be a game changer in the medical assessment.
Thank you, Dr. Chandra. Thank you, Dr. Ashok Kumar, for a very warm and kind introduction. And with that, over the course of next few minutes, I'll share with you how the next exam has come and how we are going to negotiate the same. I would just request the Zoom admin to allow me to share my screen. Okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. So there we go. So next of the National Exit Test, as we call it, has been introduced through National Medical Commission Act, and it took almost a period of 7 years for this act to see the light of the day. And since 2010, the first draft came in 2011, 12, 13. We continue to work because the lobbies in medical education in India are so large that they never allowed this transformation to take place. Finally, in 2019, the National Medical Commission Act was promulgated, and in 2020, it was formally established. And in Section 15, Section 15.1 talks about the common final year undergraduate medical examination for having a license to practice medicine. So there are three things which we can pick up in Section 15.1. One is it will take place at the final year level. Second is it will be undergraduate. And third is it will carry the value of a licensing examination. Now another purpose of this examination is this will be applicable on the foreign medical graduates, the Indian nationals with foreign medical graduates. And that's a substantive chunk now. Approximately 15% of our medical education takes place outside India. Say approximately 80,000 candidates are getting trained in India every year. So 15, 16,000 candidates are going to countries like the erstwhile CIS countries, Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, etc. And China constitutes a far bigger chunk. Philippines has emerged as a preferred destination for the Indian citizens who are going abroad to pursue that. So in 2002, this screening test for Indian nationals with foreign medical graduate qualifications was introduced. And this will also be subsumed as part of the next examination. So that's the second big purpose of this test. And the third is it shall serve as the basis for admission to the postgraduate qualification. Now, this is the key thing because in India, the reliance on graduate medical education for a vast majority of our medical graduates is only for using MBBS as their stepping stone for specialty training. And very few of them actually aspire to remain only medical graduates and enter the healthcare delivery system. So the next exam replaces the NEET PG, which has been operational since 2012-13, and this NEET PG has also been referred in Section 14 of the National Medical Commission Act, wherein it states that till such time the next is there, this test will be there. So another part of the next exam is it should be conducted, this transition between the NEET and next should take place within a period of 3 years from the date the NMC Act has come into operation. The NMC Act incidentally came into operation exactly 1 year ago, and yesterday was the first anniversary of the National Medical Commission. That is 25th of September 2020, the NMC was established. So the government as well as the Commission, now NMC, are duty bound to introduce next maximum by September 2023. So the NMC, the National Medical Commission, shall conduct the next exam through such designated authority and in such a manner as it may be specified by regulations. So this authority which will conduct the next is yet to be decided by the NMC, and the regulations for the next exam are yet to be notified. But I will just share where the regulations stand. The possible options for conduct of the next examination would be the National Board of Examinations, which has been conducting the NEET now in its 9th year of inception, and the state universities of health sciences, which in fact are the state level custodian of all the medical education because they are affiliating the medical institutions and conducting their undergraduate level examinations. And as of now, the National Medical Commission does not have any constituent board. The NMC has 4 constituent boards: the Medical Assessment and Rating Board, the UG Board, the PG Board, and the Medical Ethics Board, which any of these boards do not have any power to conduct the examination. The wherewithal and domain expertise for conduct of specialized examinations as this is either available with the state universities of health sciences or large national institutions. So as I stated earlier, the next shall become operational within 3 years from the date of commencement, that is on or before 25th September 2023. Now the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the Government of India and the NMC, they had a review meeting on 30th of July this year, wherein the modalities for conducting the next examination were discussed in detail. And the government has formally stated through a media release that the NEET is likely to be conducted in the first half of 2023. And they will be preparing the candidates by way of a mock test in mid-2020 to test the examination systems and for preparation of the candidates. That is precisely 1 year from now, we are likely to have the mock test, and precisely a year and a half from now, we are likely to see the next examination. Now, this is Government of India's own submission. And as per the Section 15(6) of the Act, the Medical Commission shall specify the regulations. So as per the latest information, as hot as this morning, the regulations are not even being drafted yet. They are just deliberating with various stakeholders on what could be the nature and scheme of the examinations. So far, the National Medical Commission has prepared one set of draft PG regulations, which are likely to be notified in later part of this year. And it is in these regulations that they have done a curtain raiser for the next examination and stated few things. Now, I have been fortunate to capture some of the information from my colleagues, and although there is no formal rule regulation document which has been notified so far, and the scheme for next is a work in progress, the possibilities which are under consideration both at the government as well as consultation undertaken by the National Medical Commission as well as the erstwhile Board of Governors which was there when the National Medical Commission was not there, that is previous year. Now these are the likely changes which will take place. So this is a compilation, a comparative statement. So on the left hand side we see what is happening now. The NEET examination which is there now, a candidate can write NEET provided he is completing internship in the year in which he is writing NEET. The current cut-off date is 31st of March of the year in which the candidate is planning to secure admission for the MBBS programs. Whereas the next exam will take the milestone a year prior. That is, the candidate will write the next examination after completing the final MBBS training. The purpose of examination, for the NEET examination, the purpose is single: entry to the postgraduate MBBS, DLD or diploma courses. For the next examination, entry, yes, in addition to entry, licensing. That is, candidates cannot get registered with the medical council or at the state level or at the central level, at the Union of India level, that is the NMC Board for Ethics and Registration, unless and until they have qualified the next examination. The current NEET is a single sitting, one-step examination, 100% MCQ based. The next is a two-level examination. This is what the current proposition is, the current draft, which has been prepared. The level one of the examination, which is called the next one, will take place before the start of internship, and those who qualify will be able to do the internship. Whereas at the end of the completion of the internship, there will be the next two, and this test will be primarily clinical problem solving, and this will be a qualifying exam only. This will not go towards counting of merit for the participation in the national level ranking for entry to MBBS examinations. Whereas the MCQ examination, which is the next one, will have 100% weightage for the merit list preparation for entry to the MBBS examination. The validity of the NEET is single session, whereas the validity of the next will be 3 years. In a case a candidate doesn't get entry into the MBBS program for 3 years, they will have to come back and redo the test. However, for licensing, there is no limit on the validity. Once cleared, it is valid for life. And a candidate can always reappear. There are no limits or upper limits to the reappearing. Now, this is the flow chart which summarizes the future for the medical graduates. So, as they are in their final year MBBS, they will be writing their as they complete their final year MBBS, they will write the next one. Now, if they are qualified, they can move to the internship, and once they complete the internship, they can do the next two. In case they are not able to do the next two, they can reappear, and then only their eligibility for entry into the post-graduation will be completed. Now, as far as the next one is concerned, in case they do not qualify, they have to reappear, or in case they wish to prove their merit, they can always go back and write the examination. The entry to the post-graduation will be based on the merit obtained by the candidate in next one, and if a candidate is not qualified in next one and to combine together, he will not be eligible for. This is a draft scheme which was actually given by the Association of the Vice Chancellors of Universities of Health Sciences. This was a consensus meeting between the Board of Governors before the NMC got constituted. So this is hot in the file of NMC. Now this is a scheme which has been drafted that the exam will be spread across 3 days or 3.5 days, and it will comprise of 540 marks. And major subjects, minor allied subjects will be clubbed to the major subjects, and 3 minor subjects, and 4th is a standalone subject. So a total of 540 marks which they have planned. So this is not yet finalized, this is under consideration. So the focus of the next examination is going to be on applied basic sciences, approximately 10% weightage. 90% of the paper will be from clinical problem solving and comprehension and analysis of clinical questions. Whereas the memory recall will again be limited to 10%. So approximately 20% question which will be of rote learning of basic sciences, 80% of the exam will be purely clinical. Now, what is the next steps, or what are the various timelines where we are headed to? The next regulations are likely to be notified in the next 4 months or maximum by, say, the reference calendar, because this has to be aligned with the MBBS calendar, especially keeping in view the candidates. If we are doing the exam in 2023, the first batch, MBBS batch, which will be writing the next exam will be those who have taken entry into the MBBS in year 2018. And the agency to conduct the exam will be notified, and the role of the universities of health sciences, the deemed universities will also be specified of where they stand, what logistic infrastructure support they will provide. The syllabus for the exam, how far the syllabus is going to be matching or correlating with the graduate medical education curriculum to which our candidates have been exposed so far. Because as an educational administrator, I know this syllabus has to replicate what they have been taught. Otherwise, it will be a breach of trust or a breach of promissory estoppel, which we have bestowed upon the candidates when they took admission in 2018. So the syllabus has to match backwards to the graduate medical regulation. Then what are the knowledge, skills and competencies for the next two examinations which are going to be there? And finally the result and cutoff criteria, whether it's a percentile criteria or a percentage criteria. Because even for the NEET examination, we started up with a percentage criteria, but we ended up adopting percentile criteria. And even today, every year, the cutoff keeps on changing. Every year, it's now become a perpetual feature that first the result is declared, and then we have the first cutoff, second cutoff, and the third cutoff. Now, as far as our deep regulatory question is concerned, which currently all the universities, even the government and NMC are seized of. Now, this is a very big legal question which needs to be addressed when the regulation will be framed. What will be the status of the final MBBS examination? Whether the final MBBS examination will continue to be conducted at the local medical institution by the affiliating university or the state university as the degree is awarded by them, or the final exam will be abolished altogether and the NEET 1, which is an MCQ based examination, will replace the final examination. The original thought process with which the scheme was envisaged and various consultations took place at the NITI Aayog, where we call the Planning Commission, the NITI Aayog, and at the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The concept was to abolish the final MBBS exam altogether, and the next exam should replace that. But this is one question where there is still the consensus is far from being achieved, and multiple stakeholders have multiple opinions. The final ball rests with the final decision-making ball rests with the court of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare based on the recommendations of NMC. No decision has been taken till now, and the legal question here is the final exam is if not conducted by the state or local university, the affiliating university has to accept the result published by the notified agency, now which is the other notified agency, and then accept that for the purpose of awarding the degree. So this may come in the way of various regulations. Now our last slide, and what holds good for our candidates, especially the 2018 and 19 batch, which will be the first batches which will get into the flavor of next examination. Approximately 61,000 candidates took admission in 2018. Now this will be the first batch which will be exposed to next in 2023, and 2024 batch will be the second next batch. 76,000 graduates took admission in 2019. And these are the batches which are likely to have a mock-up practice test next year in this period only, and they will be the one who will be taking 2023 onwards, the next examination. So they have to map their time available. Now they have approximately 2 years in hand with the curriculum. Whatever curriculum they have covered and whatever curriculum is left as of now, they have to cover the syllabus for MBBS as per the expected standards. They should not go too wide, they should not go too narrow. So the standards have to be appropriately matched. They have to develop analytical skills to approach clinical problems. The days of rote learning are over, and they have to practice clinical skills, because the next two is going to be based on the clinical skills. So they have to revise the clinical and analytical content. What they are going to learn in their lectures and MBBS classes is the rote learning, but rote learning is gradually being phased out, the manner in which the philosophy of NEET has been established. So the clinical and analytical clinical content has to be thoroughly revised and brought into their deep thinking algorithms. It is unlikely that whatever is the testing agency, whether it is the National Board of Examinations or it is the state universities of health sciences, who are going to be in charge of conducting the next examination, that they will establish a very high pedestal or standard setting for clearing as the qualifying benchmark for these candidates. Most of the candidates should be able to qualify next examination. That is my experience of setting up the NEET examination, setting up the NEET super speciality, and doing the back analysis of the last decade of the performance of the candidates. So no standard setting body will set the benchmark too high, but at the same time, there are going to be differentiating factors which are going to determine the ranking of the candidates. So friends, in case you are still, your students, your children, they are still targeting very high rank as far as the next examination is concerned. They have to revise, revisit their strategy and make sure that they are counted in the highest percentiles of the examination. So friends, with that, I leave with a very interesting quote. Education is the passport to future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And that today is very much here. We are just knocking the doors for next. And God willing, our students, our parent institutions, candidates should be flying off the NEET to the best of their abilities. Thank you.
मम्मी एक बार हमें क्लास में ना जवाब देने लायक नहीं था कल कितनी तारीख है 28
Thank you, Dr. Bipin. Waiting for Dr. Chandrasekar to come in. It is wonderful to see your perspective in how these exams came about. We are waiting for questions to come in. I know that there are already a couple of questions from Dr. Praveen, but let me take this question to you. It is, at least in US, they have an exit exam which is required to get a licensing. That makes it tricky. You have a MBBS final exam, you test based on that one, and probably you have it in the criteria for issuing a license after the NEET. What if a student fails the MBBS exam? Probably they don't qualify to take the NEET next problem. I can understand with the proliferation of medical schools in India with different standards. We need a qualifying exam nationally for licensing, but that is unprecedented, at least from US point of view, to have two exams to get licensed.
कल कितनी तारीख से 27 है ना 24 का करके बैठ रहा है जो 24 को था 24 को नहीं
We are very seriously placed as far as the next examination is concerned. Because when the exam was being planned, one question which I specifically posed to the then health secretary was that the outcome is never going to be a fraction of one. That is, the input is never going to equal the output. And the output will always be a fraction of the input. So we are invariably slowing down supply chain. So at a point we're saying that we are short of doctors, and in order for quality and standardization of the entire process, we have placed the entire burden upon the poor candidates rather than going back and improving our accreditation systems or doing the quality assurance at the education process, that is from the year 1 to year 5 of the MBBS. So we are straight away putting all the shoulder for quality weightage for quality assurance on the shoulder of the candidates by designing the next examination.
ये करना है और ये कर रहा है 24 तारीख को छुट्टी थी मैम अपने आप ले लेंगी बाद में जब
So can I just ask Professor Batra, is it possible for, will there be just one exam per year, or will there be, for someone who wants to improve their score, so they have to wait 1 year for the next exam? Is that correct, or is it the proposal?
Yeah, the proposal made is one exam a year. Although debate is going on to make it twice a year for the purpose of improvement. but our admissions continue to be once a year. So having a midterm examination will hardly serve any purpose. So let us see when the final regulation comes of whether this biannual examination becomes a feature. Because in case it is for the purpose of entry to internship as well, they have to go for biannual. There is no other way. Because a candidate cannot wait for 1 year just to enter into internship. So even if it is one candidate in a medical school, he cannot be subjected to a torture of 1 year to be waiting to enter into the internship. So I think it has to be twice a year.
So what happens to the people who have taken next and who are not able to qualify, but they want to get into postgraduate courses next year? Say for people before 2017, 2016, there are a lot of people who are preparing for to get into postgraduate courses. So how that would interlink with the new system that is coming in?
Yeah. So the next one actually will be the gateway for them. They need not write the next two. The next two is only for the fresh graduates. Whereas the existing graduates who have completed their internship, basically next, the philosophy behind next two was the assessment of the clinical skills which they have learned during their internship. The concept behind next one and next two was, next one was more focused at the candidate's knowledge acquisition, whereas next two was more towards skills and competencies. So it will be deemed that all the previous batches who have already completed their MBBS, they are deemed to have qualified or attained the appropriate skills and competencies at the next two level, and they can only write the next one and be eligible to enter into the MBBS exam.
Thank you. Kannan, have you got any questions coming in from the other platforms?
Not yet, sir. Raveen has a few questions.
Yes. Can I go ahead with my question, sir?
Yeah, of course, Praveen. Go.
Good evening, sir. This is Praveen from Kannan College. I'm doing my residency right now. I'm actually from the 2016 batch, and I will be able to write my NEET exam by 2022. So, if by chance I do not get the enough score in the NEET to get the subject that I want to take in postgraduate, should I go to 2023 next exam, or will I be writing an NEET exam again? Will I be able to will I get license to practice medicine or not? That's all I want to ask.
So I think all the candidates who have entered into the system prior to 2020 need not worry about the next examination, because the Indian law is that for you, those who this law got passed in 2019 and this law got notified on 25th of September 2020. So any candidate who has entered into the system prior to 2019 will continue to be governed by the rules, regulations, laws which were in operation during that time. So at that time there was no next and there was no licensing examination. So you are free from as far as next is concerned, as far as your registration with the state council is, right? Now as far as your second part, which is entry to the MDMS is concerned, now you are entering the MD at a subsequent stage, which is year 22, 23. So at that point of time, the law which was promulgated in 2019 has been operationalized. So you get covered by that law as far as your MDMS is concerned. For your MBBS, for your registration with Tamil Nadu Medical Council or any other medical council for that matter, you are fully protected. There is no issue. You don't have to write any exam. Absolutely no.
Thank you, sir. My next question is, you mentioned about the validity of the next being for 3 years. I couldn't get it. Can you explain?
Yeah. So validity has got two components. One is for the licensing and second is for MDMS. For licensing, it's lifetime validity. Once you have qualified next, you don't have to write the next exam again and again after every 3 years. But in case you are aspiring to enter into MD, MS, DNP, post diploma, in that case, if you say 2020 you have qualified next in 23, so you're eligible for 3 sessions, 23, 24, 25. But say if you don't get an admission in these 3 years, and in 2026 you want to participate in counseling again, you'll have to go back and write the exam again for 2026.
Thank you, sir. I got that point also. And the last point was that I wanted to ask you is regarding the clinics. Like already, the education here is that people focus more on theory books than what they do in the practical books. Like basically, most people don't read Hutchison or Mackey or Cotley before they complete the final year in clinical examination. So, with the implementation of next one and then going on to next two in house surgeons, will they be able to focus on clinical part in the final year, or they'll just be reading only from Harrison and Davidson and will not know how to like examine a patient and only learn that in house surgency period?
Right. So again, I'll split your question into two components on what is practical and what is envisaged. So first I will tell you what is envisaged. When this scheme was being formulated and the way that decision makers want, the decision makers want their MBBS graduates to be competent physicians. Now a competency-based curriculum has also been notified by the then NCI last year. In 2020, they notified the competency-based curriculum. So right now there are competencies which are defined for various subjects, competencies of a physician, competencies in general surgery, competencies in obstetrics. So you have to comply and be ready with those skills and competencies. But assessment becomes the bottleneck. So I'll tell you now what is. So that was what was envisaged, and now what will be operational. From the operational perspective, I can tell you, the insider view from various organizations. We don't have a very robust problem-setting scenario. See, whatever the problem, the MCQs are generated in various exam bodies, majority of them end up being too rote learning centric. So very few exam bodies have been working to create a question bank, which is actually problem-based. If we just see the MRCP Part 1 examination with our NEET examination and compare the two, they are miles apart, whereas the entry level for the two is almost similar. In MRCP, a candidate will just 6 months of training in medicine or 1 year training in medicine is writing the examination, and in our NEET of fresh MBBS is writing. But if we just pick up the medicine part and compare the two, there's a wide gap. Or for that matter, just compare PLAB with NEET. There's a wide gap because the administrating agency for MRCP UK, they have been working over the past 2 decades to transform their item bank from rote learning to practical case scenarios. Now, as far as our NEET examination is concerned, I think over the last 9 years, there have been tremendous efforts made, and now we have been able to convert 50% of the paper into clinical scenario based. Out of that 50%, 20% of the gross is actually image-based questions, wherein you get actual images from clinical spotters or ECGs or instruments, so that you are able to correlate and backtrack and see whether the candidates have actually done their internship appropriately or not. So eventually, this is going to be a scenario which will continue for a while. And in my second last slide, I raised this issue of how the future papers are going to be constructed. 10% of applied basic sciences, 80% of applied clinical, and 10% of preventive and social medicine. So this is going to be the construct, this is going to be the weightage. This is more or less finalized, and they will do a little bit of minor interplay between subjects, 5 questions here and there, but grossly this 80, 10 and 10 will win for the days to come.
Can I just ask Sowmya to ask her question? She's a relatively fresh graduate who has got some insight into NEET preparation, etc. Sowmya?
Good evening, sir. Dr. Batra, thank you for taking the time to address today. Sir, so I am Sowmya. I belong to 2014 batch, sir. I had a question regarding, you did mention that 90% of the next exam is planned to be clinical. So, sir, my question was, until now, NEET has primarily been seen as an exam of elimination. So, for example, negative marking as well as one-line factual questions, all these strategies have been designed to eliminate candidates in order to choose the best ones for the top PGC. So with next coming into play, final year students are going to be taking next one, sir, and it is also being targeted for the foreign medical graduates. In general, the FMG exam at a somewhat easier level compared to NEET. So, do you think that these factors will play any role, and if they do, how will they influence the setting of the paper, the toughness, so to speak, sir?
Right. I think I must thank you for listing a very, very important point for the government as well as the regulatory agencies, Sowmya, because this is one exam which is directly linked to labeling, conforming MBBS to the candidates, right? Because NEET and NEET 2, there should not be too much of gap. NEET 1, if the fraction of candidates are less and it is designed to be a elimination examination, you have lesser graduates entering into the internship, or maybe their journey of MBBS is going to be delayed. Instead of normal 4.5 plus 1 which they spend, they will end up spending much more time. So if you can just revisit, my absolutely last slide, and the last line of that was, it is unlikely that whosoever body conducts the exam, whether it is the state universities in conjunction with the national board do the exam, it will be their last priority to design the exam as an elimination exam. So this cannot be an exclusion exam, this has to be an inclusive exam. So they have to design and construct the paper appropriately that we include everyone, but at the same time differentiate between various shades of grey between the candidates, right? So in fact, I would not say the candidates are grey, they are a rainbow of candidates. So we have to differentiate the various colors of our candidates in between. So it cannot be an exclusive eliminative examination, it has to be an all-inclusive examination. This is the exact paper I wrote for the Supreme Court in 2004, when the Supreme Court heard a batch of petitions from the foreign medical graduates. In 2002, the litigation started. And 2004, I was fortunate to be, helping the court with the brief of how the exam is going to be structured. And this is the precise point which we addressed before the court, that these are the graduates who just want to come and practice medicine over here. They are not the ones who will write the All India PG to get eliminated. So we have to work in a manner, design the questions in a manner that we just test them for the knowledge which they have, rather than testing for the knowledge and skills which they do not have.
Thank you.
Okay, on that topic, can I just ask you, Professor Batra, how important are the final year MBBS exams in, say, medicine, surgery, obstetrics, and gynecology, when you have a competing exam, I won't say competing exam, an exam which has got more impact on the future career? So what will be the timings of this, and what will be the significance of being assessed on the important clinical skills of medicine, surgery, and obstetrics and gynecology? And you say that there will be another exam at the end of internship, which will be next two. So do you think this is a good move, or do you think it is something which needs to be thought more carefully, or is it just going to happen?
Well, see, the decision has already been taken. It's just modalities, and what we have described, we are going to see a minor changes in these modalities, because much of this has already undergone the consultative process, and we are just few months away from the actual implementation. And for a country of our size, incidentally, we are now the largest number of medical colleges and the largest number of graduates. We are at the pole position. So it's unlikely that we are going to look backwards and change the rule position or regulation. So we have come a long way ahead in the last decade here. But what you have raised is a very, very important point. The educators, the institutions, and the students, the ecosystem of the three, they have to work tandem with each other, so that they utilize their time available in their hand very, very effectively. So earlier the focus used to be on somehow managing the time to pass through, a minimum level of knowledge and parallelly preparing for the NEET examination or the competitive landscape. I think over a period of time, this won't happen overnight, over a period of time, say 3, 4, 5 batches, there will be a convergence between what is the expected outcome in the examination and what is being taught in the medical schools. So that is the objective of the regulation also. So once this merger takes place of what is the hidden curriculum and the candidate wants to read, the candidates eventually wants to qualify the next examination, and they want to qualify that with flying colors. Now, these are the only two things the candidate wants. Now, in case their curriculum and the syllabus being implemented in the institution is well aligned, and the hospital understands this, what is to be taught to the candidates, so that their objectives are met, I think it will be a win-win situation both for the candidates as well as for the hospitals. So there is nothing to be afraid of at this stage. All we need to do is realign ourselves. That's it.
Thank you, Professor Batra. Dr. Kannan wants to come in. Kannan?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, sir. I'm Dr. Kannan. Thanks for that presentation. As a pathologist, I graduated last year from Christian College below. I'm just curious to know if there is something like this for postgraduates in future.
Postgraduates unlikely in the near future, but let us see. Right now, post-graduation is deeply divided between the medical college stream and the natural board stream, the DPNB stream and the MBBS stream. So it's unlikely that in a very near future there may be any convergence in that. But then time changes quickly, so I remain non-committal on that. What remains in the future for that.
And one more question from a teacher's point of view. I have students at college. So what advice would you give to the faculty who are teaching students so that they can prepare their students for the next section? What changes can they bring into their type of teaching?
Right.
How can they handle students?
I think the earlier we adopt competency-based medical education, the better it is. Because knowledge eventually, today's candidates, they are far more digitally connected and their learning curve is far more sharper than we can imagine. So today's graduates have a very strong appetite for knowledge acquisition. So knowledge they can acquire on their own. They have the resources. Because if you see today, the rote learning lectures which are conducted in medical colleges, practically they are a waste of time. And given a choice, I would make them optional for the candidates to attend and very, very optional for the even faculty to deliver. So you can match between themselves that which are the topics they want to deliver on lectures. Lectures could be delivered digitally as well. But what needs to be absolutely attained as far as the time spent in medical colleges, the skills and the competencies which are now clearly documented in the curriculum which was notified by the Medical Council of India. So as far as the graduate medical education is concerned, it is these competencies and skills which will matter in the long run. So if a candidate needs to examine abdomen properly, he needs to do that. If a candidate knows how to elicit history properly, he needs to do that. If a candidate is expected to communicate properly with the patient, he needs to do that. So in post-graduation, if you see, there is very little reliance on education, knowledge acquisition. The more reliance is on patient care delivery, competencies of patient services, clinical services. Now these competencies have to be replicated in the graduate curriculum. The challenge there is numbers. Now majority of the medical colleges in India have a number of 150 to 200, and managing that in wards, especially in the post-COVID era, is going to be a big challenge for the clinical educators. The clinicians, for clinicians to arrange a wide spectrum of patients and then expose appropriately to all the medical graduates remains a challenge. But I think our clinicians are very wise, they are very experienced. They'll be able to adapt and do justice to the program.
Thanks, Professor Batra. Dr. Nagamalar from the US wants to come in.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Batra sir. Thank you so much for the detailed presentation. For me, it is eye-opening because I've graduated more than 20 years ago.
Right.
So the question I have is, there's a lot of exams the students are taking. Now this comes as an entry into their internship. So the first question is, how affordable are these exams? Because the students are not in a position to pay for many exams, right? So how affordable it is it, that is number one. Number two is, many of them have already been in abroad practicing, and you did mention that it is a licensing examination. So let's just say I have been out, I've registered already in Tamil Nadu Medical Council. What if people want to go back and practice? Do we have to do any such exams? Those are the two questions. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So I'll come to the first point about the affordability of these examinations. The exams, they are expensive examinations by Indian standards. The present cost of writing the NEET examination is $100. And I would say it pinches for the candidates to pay even $100. I receive a lot of messages still on my social media about the current fee structure for the examinations. Because these are very broad-based examinations, and we have 200,000, 180,000 candidates paying for it. And to deliver that examination costs only a fraction of that. So when the costs are being worked out, I think it is the government and the exam bodies should be very, very rational. And if not subsidized, they should be relying it on a cost basis. The cost could come down by as low as $30 or $35 should be the cost of the examination. So that is one. Second is that candidates end up spending a lot of money for extra medical college coaching. So I will call it extracurricular coaching from other institutions. And typically a candidate is today spending close to $2,500 for their extracurricular coaching from these private institutions. Now this is something which adds to their pocket, and not all candidates today can afford to do that, especially those who are studying in public funded medical colleges. And today in India we maintain a ratio of 1:1 between self-funded or what we call as the private versus the public funded or the government. Now, coming to your second question, there is no need for re-registration. The law is very clear. So this licensing examination is applicable to only those graduates who will be joining our system after 2019. So prior to that, those candidates are totally exempt. So anybody who has passed long time ago, she has registered with the medical council or has not registered with the Indian medical graduate, passed out from one of the recognized medical colleges in India, they can register and work anywhere in the country without restriction. One country, one registration, no issues at all.
Thanks, Professor Batra. Can I just ask you, so how the next two will work for students who have, say, studied in China, Czech Republic, or Russia? So if they want,
so they will have to prepare for the examination very, very specifically for the next two. And presently, the students who have done their medical graduation abroad, they are required to do their internship in India. So they will be doing the internship just like an Indian graduate after writing next one, and they will be writing their next two like an Indian graduate.
I think Dr. Kannan wants to ask something. Kannan?
Yeah.
Praveen, it was Praveen who wanted to ask this. Praveen, can you go ahead?
Yes, sir. For example, a person, for example, 2019 batch person writes the next one and they couldn't clear it in the first attempt. And first question would be, is he eligible to go into the house urgency? And the second question would be, how many attempts can he have at the next one to practice and go into the house urgency?
Right. So in terms of number of attempts, I think the ministry gave a clarification on 30th of July. The 30th of July press release given by the government talks about the number of attempts, and they say 3 attempts. But then subsequently, last week the NMC orally has clarified. And I would say there is nothing in writing. Orally there is a clarification issued that there will be no attempts. So right now the situation is that varies between 3 attempts to no limit on attempts between the different statements made. So practically things remain unclear. Now as far as progression to house urgency is concerned, it is very clear that one has to clear the next one as well as next two before they are eligible to take up junior residency or anywhere in the country.
Sir, very sorry that audio was cracked a bit. Can you just repeat the last point?
Okay, I'll just repeat that. I'll just repeat that. So for house urgency, house resident, junior residency or house surgeon post, one has to clear their NEET 1 and NEET 2. Then only next 1 and next 2, then only they can join. Otherwise they cannot join, right? And as far as the limits are concerned, on the 30th July press release they talked about 3 attempts, but subsequently it has been clarified there will be no upper limit on the attempts.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, so you have the NEET one at the end of the final year, and then, sorry, the next one, and then the next two at the end of house agency or at the beginning of house agency. So I think it's a bit unclear to me. Maybe I didn't hear it well. If you can just clarify what is the timing for next one and next two.
Yeah, that will be, yeah. Next one is before start of internship, and next two is the end of internship. So there is a gap of 12 months between the two.
If someone fails to clear next one, then they have to wait a minimum of 6 to 12 months before they can take next one again to get into internship. Is that correct?
Exactly. They need to do so.
Thank you.
They need to do so. They need to wait for some time.
Dr. Ashok, have you got any questions, comments?
No, I could piggyback on that Nagamalar's question. She asked about herself being out for 20 years, so before 2020, so she qualifies to come back and practice. But what if 20 years from now, if Sowmya decides to go to UK and practice for 10 years and comes back in 2030 and says, no, UK is not for me, or I want to come back and practice in India, does she have to take the next step to get the license?
No, she doesn't have to write next. The next is only for the fresh MBBS graduates. So anybody who has once registered with the medical council, they don't have to write the next again. The act is very clear on that. Once registered, you are always registered. So you don't have to re-register.
Kannan, have you got any more questions? Sorry.
Chandra sir, it's actually a continuation of your question.
Yeah.
Dr. Batra, sir, if I can ask that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Next one becomes the qualifying exam to enter the internship, and unfortunately, in the first few years, because it's a new system, many students may not be ready for it. So therefore, if you have more failure rate, then the number of students entering the internship may not be sufficient for all the departments to have enough residents to do the functions, right? Like, will it not affect the scheduling for the first few years?
It will, definitely it will. So this is a problem which we are, that is staring, we are staring at the problem and the problem is staring at us. This is going to happen, this is bound to happen. Our input is never going to equal the output. Presently the input and output are equal. So with next coming in, that's what I said, that the entire burden of standardization of the medical education today is on the shoulder of our medical students. Rather than, we should improve our entry process, accreditation of institutions and training process. We are simply checking in at the last moment, at the exit level, and the role of gatekeeper. So we have just stepped in at the last level of quality assurance. So that's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be more inclusive rather than exclusive, and also maintain high standards. So I think it's going to be a big challenge. Dr. Ashok wants to ask a question. Go ahead, Dr. Ashok.
Dr. Bipin, you already mentioned about, I thought you touched base on this question I'm going to ask in the past. Taking the exam is tremendous stress on a student. And you are having a standardized exam for licensing, and why do they have to take an MBBS exam in addition to that? There are two exams for the student who has to go through that stress and expense.
Yes, exactly. Now this is what the government has been deliberated upon, and this is what the request of all the stakeholders between the government. Once, the thought process, over the last 1 year, multiple requests have gone to the government to merge the two. But merging the two means subsuming the final MBBS examination into the next examination. Now this poses a regulatory question, because the degrees will continue to be awarded by the state university. Now, as per the law, the universities without doing the examination cannot award the degrees. So they will have to rely upon an examination conducted by any other body for the purpose of giving the degree. Now, this is a legal quagmire which the government is seized of, and let us see what is the solution the government comes up with. So practically, yes, I agree with you that we don't have to duplicate examinations one after the other. We have to cut down the number of examinations into the system, because eventually it zeroes down to being an inefficient system if we are having too many examinations. But let us see how far the regulatory system is able to replace two examinations with one. So we are hopeful that in the next 3 months the government will find a solution to this issue as well.
Thanks, Dr. Batra. So Dr. Sowmya wants to come in. She's got another question.
Sir, I just have two more questions.
Yeah.
Number one is, you did mention that each part of the exam prior to obtaining licensing would be valid for a period of 3 years. So during this period of 3 years, will a student be able to reattempt the exam in order to get a better score? Because currently this is what a lot of students do with the NEET exam. And number two,
yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So number two is there any time period within which both the steps have to be taken? For example, with the USMLE, all steps have to be taken within 7 years. Is there anything like that for next?
Right. So as far as your first question is concerned, there is no upper limit. A candidate can rewrite and redo the next one sports. Next two is only qualifying. Next one, yes, rewrite and reappear their sports. As far as the upper limit is concerned, although the Act does not anything like this, but I will just give an interpretation of the existing graduate regulation. The existing graduate regulation says that the MBBS has to be completed within an outer period of 7 years. Like if there's a particular exam where you are stuck, you will get only 7 years to complete that. So the 7-year rule still remains, because this rule has not been dismantled. So the 7-year rule remains valid as far as the Indian universities or Indian medical education is concerned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Batra. So, Dr. Naga, Dr. Kannan, Dr. Praveen, any more questions?
Not from my end, sir, but I have to thank Dr. Batra, sir. This is eye-opening. I'm sure you'll have many more questions coming. The main one that I'm looking forward to get more answer is about how the administration is going to handle the scheduling. Because some departments are going to need more students, right? So that's all I'm looking forward to. I'm sure the answers will be coming in the upcoming days. So thank you.
Dr. Kannan? You want to come in?
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Dr. Praveen?
No more questions. It was very kind of Dr. Sir to come and explain everything to us for about an hour, spend time with us on Sunday evening. So very thankful to him, and especially as I'm in the house, I can see it was really very helpful.
Thanks, Praveen. Dr. Ashok?
Again, thank you, Dr. Batra, for taking your time to come and present this one.
Right, thank you.
It's recorded, and many more students will be watching this for reference in the future.
Right.
And I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Ashok. Thanks, Professor Batra. I think it's indeed eye-opening to listen to you. I think we are impressed by your knowledge and commitment to improving and standardizing education, medical education in India. So I'm really grateful on behalf of the global alumni of the Coimbatore Medical College for your time. And hopefully we'll see you in person at some point in time soon.
Yeah. Right.
And thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Chandra, Dr. Ashok, and all other friends and colleagues. The Coimbatore Medical College Global Alumni, the Coimbatore Medical College. Look forward to the next edition. Thank you. It was my pleasure interacting with you today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.